Hello, EKN Nation. How are you today? It is Rob Howden here alongside David Cole. May the 7th, 2020. Of course, we're all in the middle of this coronavirus COVID-19 shutdown. I hope that you're staying safe at home and making sure that your family is happy and healthy. This is episode 22 of This Week in Karting. Again, May the 7th, as I said, our This Week in Karting podcast, essentially, at least normally, bringing you everything that's come to the homepage of eKarting News over the past week or two or three, whatever it may be. Obviously, a little different right now, probably using it more of an update in terms of the tracks that are able to run right now. That's what we'll be going through throughout the show here, plus a little bit more news as well. This particular new edition of This Week in Karting, brought to you by Acceleration Kart Racing. Acceleration Kart Racing has everything you need to go racing, from tires to helmets. They have a great website for you to order from, and kart racers ready to pick up the phone and answer your questions 6 days a week. With over 20 years of kart racing under their belts, Acceleration Kart Racing has the experience you need to help you succeed on track. You can rely on them to get the parts you need when you need them. Make Acceleration Kart Racing your go-to source for everything karting. All right, let's jump into this last show, David Cole, that we had was episode 21, April 14th, about 3 weeks ago. It's been hectic. You and I have been working our tails off. We've been doing podcasts. I've been doing the Instagram Live Q&As. We kind of moved from that to our new Facebook Live face-to-face show, which has been a lot of fun. We've done a couple of those already. We'll fire up some more IG Lives as well throughout the next couple of weeks. But we have not lifted off the throttle at all here at EKN. We are definitely still hard at it.
Well, essentially from the last show till now, it's been a kind of transition of where are we going into reopening the sport of karting. Yeah. And that's kind of what we've been focused on the last few weeks, introducing our face-to-face program on Facebook and putting it up as a podcast on the radio network as well. So we've gotten a lot of information from a lot of people through that. We've gotten a lot of information from our kart track information page that we started, updating the status of each track, as many tracks as we can contact with throughout North America. So a lot's been going on, and still keeping the karting businesses open. People are still buying equipment. People are still buying parts and products that they'll need to get to the racetrack, because there are still tracks that are open, still tracks that are closed that are waiting to be opened, and some tracks that have opened that are going to be closed again. So a lot going on from the last essentially 4 weeks that we last had the show.
As David mentioned, if you're looking to kind of find out where things are firing up or where you're able to potentially get to the racetrack, we do have that new article that we continue to update on eKarting News. You can see it on the homepage down in features. We're also posting it to social media every day. David's trying to add 3 or 4 tracks a day. We are getting a number of tracks finally kind of reaching out to us to let us know what's going on. So it's been great to be able to have that connection with them. So that's solid. Tracks, of course, Newcastle Motorsports Park had a couple of races in the last couple of weeks. Michiana Raceway Park had an event last week. They're racing down at Rimrock Raceway as well. They had an event, I think, in late April down there in Odessa, Texas. I'm here and I had a kind of messenger chat with Chris Egger from Pat's Acres yesterday. They're going to put an event on, I think, next week, the COVID 500. They've got a big drift event coming as well, so they're trying to get things rolling. But the bottom line is that there's a lot of tracks around the country, and maybe some of the states that aren't quite as on aggressive lockdown, where they're open for members to come and practice still. Speed Sports Racing Park down in Texas, one of those facilities. So there's a number of them that are opening up a little more to allow people to go at least get back on the racetrack. And David, when we're talking about the industry, that's great because, we're not going wheel to wheel. No one's bending tie rods or spindles or whatever it may be, but guys are testing. They're going through chains. They're going through tires, fuel, whatever it may be. So it's at least got things rolling again to kind of start the flow of money back through the industry.
Well, I think that's a positive because we have not heard from one single person in the industry that they have nothing to do. They've been keeping busy. They've been pushing out product again, taking in product because again, some shipments were sent before the pandemic hit. Some shipments have arrived, and so now they're getting their inventory in stock. That's the one thing that I have not heard from a single person in the industry. Man, I I have nothing to do.
Yeah, that's true.
So that I guess if you look at it that way, they're keeping busy. Thus, the doors are open. The wrenches are getting turned. The inventory is getting stocked. The products are getting shipped out. So I think that's one of the real positives that we can kind of take away, especially for the month of March and April, because that has been the dire time during this pandemic where we thought everything was going to be completely shut down, where people were going out and buying gobs of groceries and trying to stockpile everything they possibly could.
That's it. Yeah.
That was kind of the worry of, okay, are we going to be hunkered down and not being able to do anything? And that's the one thing that I guess kind of came out of this pandemic, is that we weren't exactly that far into being in lockdown mode to where the fact that we could go out to get groceries, we could go out to do this. And as you said, some states have had some of a lack or not a lesser restrictions on racetracks, but also, not as many cases in certain areas as well. So that's a positive. And as you said, some of these member owned racetracks, they're able to do what they want to do because they are member owned, depending on the guidelines in the state or the county or township that they're in. Tracks have been able to stay open this entire time for their members, where other member facilities are not allowed to be open because of certain mandates or guidances or orders that have been laid down from the governor down to local townships. So it's, every day is a moving puzzle, a moving, jigsaw puzzle to try and fit together and see who's doing what here and who's doing what there, and a lot of moving parts.
You talked about some of the industry still staying fluid and working, which is great. A couple of companies within our sport have kind of did the pivot and are actually stepping up to produce masks, personal protection devices, hand sanitizers. I know that Molecule knocking out some hand sanitizers. Liquid Sky, who have started delving into the racing suit manufacturing company. They do a lot of stuff for skydiving. They've jumped in and done a lot of racing suits for guys like Race Liberante, Billy Musgrave. They're just kind of ramping up to get into the production of kart racing suits. They pivoted and started hammering out a bunch of masks as well. So companies making that adjustment as well in this particular trying time to kind of step up and fill the supply lines of some of the things that are needed on the front lines, not just the front lines, but throughout the country as well.
Yeah, and just for personal use, again, for us going to the grocery store, for going to wherever we need to get anything that we're looking to get to have at home. Mind you, I've gone to Home Depot to do some landscaping and other situations, but it's part of life. Again, you just put a mask on to keep your social distancing intact, and everything seems to be working fine. I mean, as again, as we said, it's different in different counties and different cities and different states. So it's interesting to see how everything's unfolding. And one good positive thing is we're seeing the factories in Italy opening up, because we saw Italy was essentially locked down, probably worse than what we were here in the United States. And, everything shut down there. They're starting to see the factories opening up. We talked to you and Jeffrey from CRG. He gave us a little tour of the factory after having a conversation with him. So CRG is up and running. We know Burrell Art is up and running now. PSL is opening the doors back up. Well, not opening the doors, but at least getting their offices fully staffed to be able to provide services up there in Canada. And kart tracks are starting to open in Europe as well. So slowly, again, it's not going to happen overnight. We're just going to have to slowly take it day by day and see what everything brings us, depending on the status of where we are with this pandemic.
One of the things that obviously we did here at E-Karting News was start up our Support Karting initiative, and we want to thank everyone who stepped up and purchased T-shirts from the get-go, our hashtag Support Karting shirts. I think we've already blown through the first printing. They've just wrapped up the second printing of shirts as well, so those of you who want to jump on board and support the industry, we really appreciate that. 100% of the profits going back to our partners at ekartingnews.com that support what we do, so we really appreciate that. And so, David, it's cool to see people post it to social media. We'll be kind of assembling a list of people that have already done that, and I'll be picking out a name pretty soon for our first prizes. We're going to send a prize pack, an EKN swag prize pack, to at least one person, maybe more. More definitely. It'll be probably a once a week kind of thing. Dialing them in because we love to see it, man. People are posting to social media, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, wearing their shirts. The Traver family, all four of them had stuff dialed in, getting a picture with them in their carts and their trailer. I thought that was awesome. And it's just cool to see people supporting the sport because we're in a time right now where our industry should be rocking and rolling. They should be blasting product out. They should be trackside supporting people, taking care of everybody. Right now, though, they're stuck in the shop working their tails off, like you said, but the money's not coming through the cash register. So our goal is to try to help them out just a little bit if we can. And those of you who are buying the T-shirts, we appreciate it. You can go to Styled Aesthetic in their store, or of course, ekartingnews.com/store as well. And that hooks everything up. But we're appreciative of that. I love seeing people wearing the shirts.
Yeah, despite having you on the shirt, it does look pretty good.
It looks good. It looks good with me on a shirt on you.
That does not look good. But other people great. Wearing it looks good. You know, the family's putting it on. Some drivers that we know pretty well. Some industry members, Acceleration Kart Racing. They, I believe, they got their shirts recently and posted a photo of them outside the shop wearing that. So it's the shirt looks good on everybody but me.
Well, I want to say this. The shirt is very indicative of how things are going to happen in 2020. Me in front of you, not behind you. So you'll always be behind me.
I wasn't in the photo, so it doesn't matter.
Because you're not going to be in the photo. You're going to be so far back. You don't want to pick up so many people, right? You want to take a picture of one corner at a time, David.
Keep living in your dream. Keep living in your dream world.
And with that, we'll cut to our first commercial break here on the EKN Radio Network. We thank those of you who have downloaded the EKN Radio Network app so you can be listening here on your mobile device. Of course, all of our content here on EKN getting turned into podcasts and available on iTunes and Google Play after that. This is episode 22 of This Week in Karting. It's May the 7th. Hope everybody's taking care of each other. Stay with us, folks. After this break, we hate it, but we're going to tell you a little bit more about some of the events that have been postponed, where things are shaking down. We'll talk USPKS and Route 66. We'll talk Challenge of the Americas. We'll talk Cup Karts North America as well. Stay with us, folks. More to come here on the EKN Radio Network. 25 years of experience, 25 years of success. Greg Bell and Leading Edge Motorsports are heading into their third decade in the sport with winning momentum and the best material possible. Last year's monumental victories at the Rock the Rio and SCUSA Super Nationals have proven what the sport has long known. Greg Bell is one of the finest karting tuners, and he and his drivers can get the job done. Looking for a change in equipment? Get on board with Leading Edge Motorsports. Leading Edge is North America's factory team for Formula K and Praga karts, and the new 2020 models are in stock and ready for pickup or shipping to your garage. Do you want to win like Danny Formal did with Leading Edge in Las Vegas? Call Greg Bell today at 209-369-0921 to secure your place on the team. Leading Edge Motorsports will be trackside in 2020 at the Challenge of the Americas, SCUSA Pro Tour and California Pro Kart Challenge, Rock Sonoma, and the KPX Karting Championship in NorCal. From Rock to Miami to Briggs, rely on Greg Bell and Leading Edge Motorsports to give you everything you need to step into the winner's circle. Check out leadingedgemotorsports.com to learn more. The Briggs & Stratton 206 engine is where out-of-the-box ease and outstanding consistency meet to create legendary races. Briggs & Stratton's history in motorsports dates back to when the first engines came off the assembly line in the early 1900s. Their focus on the grassroots level continues to help build generations of racers. Since 2008, The Briggs & Stratton 206 has gained a following that has the engine powering the largest fields in North American karting today. From the club level and track programs to traveling regional series and national events, Briggs & Stratton competition provides the most exciting racing in the sport. Engineered and hand-built exclusively for racing, every Briggs 206 engine is power tested and serialized before it goes in the box. Karters can take that engine straight from the box to their kart and be on the podium at the end of the race day. To learn more about the 206 engine and to find a North American dealer near you, head to briggsracing.com. Briggs & Stratton Racing. What powers you? Welcome back to the EKN Radio Network, where Rob Howden is always first. I always speak first. David always speaks second, very similar to how we handle things on the racetrack.
You are so lucky this is not a face-to-face.
Why? You just have some stupid look on your face, like, oh,
I
man.
I have the willpower gesture right now.
Oh, okay. You give me the double birds? I love it. All right, David, we're back here on This Week in Karting. Again, we have some positive stuff to talk about to a certain extent, but a lot of the stuff we're going to talk about is events that have been postponed, canceled, what's kind of happened. Out of the gate, the USPKS, United States Pro Kart Series, and the Route 66 Sprint Series. Mark Coates has essentially postponed everything until July, kind of waiting for May and June to wrap up. Mark kind of wants to, I think, take more of an approach of, hey, let's get things locked down before we start throwing dates out. They posted a statement, Dave, about a week ago, May the 7th, on both websites, saying that the USPKS race in Ocala from March, and, of course, the GoPro race that was scheduled to go in June have now been postponed. Same goes for Route 66, the April event that was supposed to be run at Midstate, and then the May event that was supposed to be run at Michiana Raceway Park, MRP, have now been postponed as well. So essentially, USPKS and Route 66, everything's on hold right now until they figure out how their kind of region kind of opens up.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of a safe route that they're going with both programs, because again, we're talking Illinois, Indiana, Florida, and North Carolina. So you have 4 different states for 4 different events that they're dealing with. Obviously, the Ocala one was done right away when we hit this pandemic, but the other 3 came as the time went along. They had to postpone the Mid-State race for Route 66 in April, and they're postponing the event that was scheduled for the end of May at Michiana Raceway Park, because we know the track is opening up, but we still don't know. Again, everything's changing day by day. We're hearing that Indiana might be shutting down again towards the end of the month, so it was good for them, for at least Route 66, because again, you're bringing in people from 4 or 5 or 6 different states into one area, and it's different rules and different guidances and laws for people traveling. Some people have to be quarantined after they travel, so there's a lot of different factors to go in for at least traveling programs such as this. And I guess for me, I was looking forward to getting to go to GoPro in June, but again, we still don't know quite the status of everything and how travel is going to work out, how hotels are working out with the situations that we're in. So it's kind of a good move for them and reevaluate everything in July, because again, most of the 2 programs, one program is 3 race weekends, the other is 4. So we'll see what happens, and we'll talk more with Mark and Tim Coyan from the program. I believe hopefully next week, or if not the week after.
Trying to get them on one of our face-to-face shows, so look for that to come up pretty soon. From the East Coast to the West Coast, Challenge of the Americas, Andy Seisman did everything he possibly could. We know that race that was supposed to be at the end of March, is finale of the challenge for this year at Sonoma, then got kind of moved to pair up with a Rock Sonoma, California Rock Championship event in the middle of May. That, of course, then looked like, that's not going to work. That was going to be May the 15th, 16th, 17th, which is a couple of weeks from now. Again, with the shutdown, everything that's happening in California, of course, they're shutting down pretty much more than a lot of the other states. So Andy had to pull the trigger, canceled that event. So essentially, remember, that series is crucial in terms of getting drivers tickets to go to the Rock Cup Super Final in South Garda. We'll see whether or not that even happens this year. Hopefully it will, but you have to kind of wrap the series up to crown champions. So They ended the series with 2 events, so 4 main events in total. All 4 events counting towards the 2020 championship standings. In normal times, 6 races over the 3 weekends, 5 races count, you get 1 drop. Because there's only 4 races, no drop was brought into it, David. So locked everything down. Champions were confirmed. We'll talk about that in a couple seconds. One thing that Andy did do that I think was, nobody's done this yet, but he came out hardcore, dropped the hammer, which I think was great. Get it done. Essentially resetting from this year, but he announced his 2021 dates for January, February, March as well.
Yeah, going back to the traditional dates that he's typically been towards the end of each month, January, February, and March. We'll get more on the facilities as he confirms that later. But yeah, it's just California has been hard hit with the different ordinances and executive orders that have been laid down. So getting a race there was going to be tough, a really long shot. And Andy looked at different tracks in different states, threw out very many different ideas, but just nothing could really work out to where he felt everything was going to be safe and reliable for not only his workers and staff, but all the competitors as well. So it was just best to cut it short. And again, as you said, 4 rounds. So all the points gathered from the 4 different rounds counted towards the 2020 championship standings. So something different, something unique now for this championship year. But as you said, ending it with confirming the dates for 2021. So we'll have a 14th season of the Challenge of the Americas.
Yeah, a shame for Andy, obviously, simply because the program was gaining so much momentum. Had the certain amount of race drivers at the first race at Tucson. We go to Cal Speed with a big jump, record numbers for the Challenge of the Americas at the second event in Cal Speed in February. March was lining up to be even bigger with all the rock drivers from Rock Sonoma. A number of drivers going to come out that hadn't come out already. So that was going to be a major event. But the bottom line is the series has a lot of momentum now. Of course, Andy's program, as you said, 13th year this year. Next year will be the 14th. It's just it's got such a great atmosphere, a great family feel to the staff. We had a chance to make some burgers for the staff at Cal Speed. It's just a good feel. It's a good vibe. And I think that they're going to see when they come out of the gate in 2021, a lot of guys jumping on board there because they just have a lot of fun at that series. As we said, locking things down. So the champions as they run, Hunter Pickett scoring the championship in the shifter rock category. Kevin Woods scoring the Masters rock shifter class championship. Title in senior rock going to Jake Drew. Masters to Derek Wang, another title for Wang. In the junior rock category, Enzo Delaney, who came up from the mini category last year, starts his first year in junior, David, with a championship. Oliver Calvo in senior 100cc, getting the title. Nick DeGraff and in Masters. Alex Berg having a great run in the junior 100cc class. And in the micro rock category, Nico Sarfati for GFC getting that championship. I really would like to have seen it gone the distance because there were really good championship battles in almost every category.
Pretty much every category was up for grabs in terms of championship and racing for the championship because you never know what's going to happen in Sonoma. You get different weather. Sonoma's a challenging track. You have the tic-tac-toe that could always play a huge part in the way the championship chase unfolds. We've seen it happen many times before. But again, as you said, international champions, so shifter rock, shifter masters rock, senior rock, masters rock, junior rock, and mini rock. All of those champions will receive a ticket to the Rock Cup Super Final in October in Italy. Again, we're still hoping that event is scheduled or continues to be held. Thankfully, as we said, European tracks are opening up, so it's looking better and better. But again, we probably won't know more until probably June or July regarding that event. But the other champions, including all 300cc category champions and the micro rock champion, they each earn tickets to the Rock the Rio event scheduled for Las Vegas in November.
Moving from 2-cycle to 4-cycle into the hashtag Operation Grassroots region, I will talk about the Cup Karts North America Champions Cup. Of course, all of us, focused down in October, looking forward to getting back to the Grand Nationals at Newcastle Motorsports Park again. But David, they had to cancel the opening round in April at Whiteland, so that the Spring Nationals were canceled for the Cup Karts North America Champions Cup. May 15th, 16th, 17th, a couple next week, not this week, but the next week would have been their second race at East Lansing up in your neck of the woods in Michigan. They've postponed that as well. I think they said Whiteland was canceled, potentially the second race postponed. No news yet from a schedule. I think that Greg Jasperson's the guy that we're going to have to pin down pretty soon and talk about where things are going for him. Might be a good guy to get on the face-to-face program. Of course, it would give us an opportunity to talk about the Grand Nationals, which you got to figure are going to be fine in October, but tough for them. They're not able to get their first two races done either.
Sorry. Yeah, it shouldn't have said canceled. It should have said postponed because both races have been postponed. So nothing's canceled yet because they are looking at revising the schedule a little bit to see how they can work around, what's going to be, how everything's going to be come June. Because they do have a June event, June 5th through 7th at the Concept Haulers Motor Speedway in Norway, Illinois. So that's going to be right now the opener for 2020, depending on any changes that they do make. So we'll see, if they're able to fit in an East Lansing trip or I'm assuming at least a trip to Whiteland, depending on, the status of that facility as well and how the rest of the schedule kind of works out because it's going to be jam-packed once if things start to do open in June.
Well, yeah, we're talking about June, right? So it's interesting. That's a month away from now. Obviously, a bunch of the states are making adjustments of their levels of lockdown, levels of shutdown, business-wise, allowing certain levels or sizes of gatherings. So I'm sure that Greg Jasperson, like so many of the other organizations, kind of potentially looking at different states to go to, right? We know that I posted on my own Twitter, I shared the fact that Road America is actually open for camping this coming weekend, which I thought was fantastic if you're thinking about the IndyCar weekend coming in late June. But that also opens the potential for a race at Road America. That's a place Cup Karts North America could go. If Wisconsin's opened up a little more, could they go to Badger, to Wolf Paving, the raceway there up in Dousman? That's a possibility as well. I see a lot of potential of these, especially more of the regional series like the Cup Karts North America Champions Cup, making some more on-the-fly adjustments to go to potential tracks that could open up as opposed to those that are still locked down. Because Illinois, as we know, is one of the hardcore lockdown states at this point as well.
Well, yeah, Illinois is their second stop at the Mid-State Kart Club on July 10th through 12th, and Road America is their season finale in August. So, I think, again, that's why I think the Whiteland thing, depending on when things open up there, we were anticipating them to open this weekend, but we got news that they're not going to be opened up yet this weekend. So they're going to be delayed a couple more weeks. So again, everything is still kind of day to day regarding the opening of certain facilities and certain racetracks across the country.
All right, folks, when we get back from this next break, we're going to talk about the U.S. Rotax Grand Nationals, an event that was once one of the biggest events you saw every year. It's obviously coming back. J3 Competition, who have become the northern distributor and managers of the Rotax program, are dialing things in for a race at Charlotte Motor Speedway. We'll talk about that. We'll also, David can give us a little update on how the FIA karting program in Europe has adjusted their 2020 calendar. Stay with us, folks. More to come here on the EKN Radio Network. Made in the USA. That's exactly what you get from Precision Karting Technologies. Based in Detroit, Michigan, PKT brings over 35 years of manufacturing experience to the sport of karting. Their passion for the sport began focusing around the Kid Kart platform and has expanded every year with hundreds of products designed to put you on the podium. Precision Karting Technologies is known around North America for their successful line of axles, available in all age groups. PKT manufactures a number of engine products for Comer, IAME, Rock, Rotax, and the popular Briggs & Stratton 206. A wide variety of chassis components for the many brands in the sport are available through PKT, including hubs, pedal risers, skid plates, and other hardware for your kart. Axle straightening, chassis adjustments, engine service, and specific CNC machining projects are available through their Motor City headquarters. To learn more about the many products and services available from Precision Karting Technologies, head to pktaxles.com. Fast, fair, and fun. The Margay Ignite Spec Karting program offers you all of that at an affordable price. The all-new IgniteKarting.com page provides you with the information you need to fuel your passion for kart racing. Ignite Karting is a spec package that includes the Margay racing chassis with a Briggs & Stratton 206 engine package and the Hoosier R80 tire. An Ignite K2 is designed for ages 8 to 12, while the Ignite K3 is available for junior, senior, and masters drivers. The 2020 season has a handful of major events for Ignite Karting. The historic Quincy Grand Prix is set for June 13th and 14th, racing through the city's famed South Park. The USAC Karting Battle at the Brickyard on July 14th, 15th, 16th is held inside the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, where you have a chance to take a lap around the famed 2.5-mile oval and the special Yard of Bricks. All information on events throughout the country and Ignite Kart packages, including dealers in your area, are available at IgniteKarting.com. Head there now to register for the upcoming SCUSA Winter Series event on February 7th, 8th, and 9th at AMR Motorplex in Homestead, Florida. Arrive and drive packages are still available. So get off the couch and onto the track this year. Ignite Karting. Fuel your passion. Welcome back to the EKN Radio Network, episode number 22 of This Week in Karting. This episode brought to you by Acceleration Kart Racing. Big thank you to Curtis and Brooke for all their support from ekartingnews.com. David, let's talk a little bit about the U.S. Rotax Grand Nationals. We're heading to Charlotte Motor Speedway. They repaved the legendary track within NASCAR turns 3 and 4 at that facility. The event set for July 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Excited to the fact that we're going to be there. We're planning on being there with ekartingnews.com and our EKN Trackside Live program, full audio coverage, everything that we do with EKN Trackside Live. It should be a ton of fun there. That's July 2nd to the 5th, as I said. We're talking 2 months away for that event, and I think we're all hoping that we're able to get to North Carolina. We know that GoPro's already is opening up. It has opened up. North Carolina may be a little more free in terms of being able to get down to the track. I think 2 months from now, it feels like we're going to be going racing with the Rotax guys at Charlotte. Yeah, not only karting is opening up, but NASCAR. I mean, they're going to be racing at Charlotte Motor Speedway here in a couple of weeks with obviously no fans, but when you look at 40 some teams coming into the Charlotte Motor Speedway with 10 to 20, if not more, people per team, that's a large gathering of people. And so it kind of helps bode well for the sport of karting when we do see events like that opening up. So, and again, because we've seen the South a little bit more lax in terms of certain things being laid out, openings and stuff like that. So it's a good sign that hopefully when it starts warming up here in the north, we'll be able to open up more. But well, that's the thing about that, dude. Like even in Canada, I don't think many of the clubs haven't even been started yet in Canada. Now we're still on lockdown up here. We've done a good job to flatten the curve. I think I look at the numbers every day. We've only had one day of more than 2,000 new cases in all of Canada. In the last couple of days have been less than 1,200, I think, each day, new cases each day for all of Canada. So we're going in the right direction up here for sure. But yeah, we really wouldn't even be racing yet. I think the clubs are really only getting started up here right now because, man, we're not going to get over 60 degrees for the next 2 weeks, which kind of sucks. It does. It kind of, when the pandemic hit, it was actually warmer at that time than it is now. And that was March. Now it's May. The weather is not really cooperating for being stuck at home or stay at home. Sorry, I shouldn't say stuck at home. But getting back to the U.S. Rotax Grand Nationals, it'll be during the 4th of July weekend, which will be a great way to celebrate the holiday. Essentially a 3-day event with a Thursday unofficial practice day, but Friday practice, Saturday include qualifying and heat races. A super heat is scheduled for Sunday, which lines up everybody for the main event Sunday afternoon. 6 categories, 5 of them all following the Rotax Max Challenge class structure, including the senior class, masters, junior, mini, and micro max. So we have those categories slated to take part, along with a Briggs 206 Pro category as well, with $1,000 to win. But really, the big prizes, aside from that, are the trips and tickets to the Rotax Max Challenge Grand Finals, which I believe this is the 21st edition of that event.
this year running in Bahrain. Lots of tickets to be awarded. 2 in the senior max category, the winner in the masters division, 2 tickets in the junior max category, the winner in the mini max, and the top 3 in the micro max divisions, all earning tickets. Certain categories, though, do reserve the top USA finishing driver, that in senior, junior, and mini, all earning 1 ticket. So there's at least we can fill up the Team USA without all international drivers stealing our tickets.
Well, you know what? Kudos to J3 competition. As we said, this, you know, they kind of stepped up to the plate to work with BRP Rotax to put together, you know, kind of the return of the Rotax program. It was so big here in the U.S. for many, many years. Big part, of course, the Florida Winter Tour. It was the engine of choice for the first 10 years for the Challenge of the Americas, and of course those many Grand Nationals that we attended, David, over the number of years. Always over 200 drivers wherever we went for that race, drawing in all the drivers from the top drivers from all the different regions. Issues, of course, coming with the Rotax, the power plant itself, updates, issues that happened in terms of the management here in the U.S. The key is the fact that there's still a lot of drivers on Rotax product around the country. A lot of pockets where Rotax was still being run, whether in Rotax only classes or within tag classes that people were still having and clubs were still having. So J3's come in, they've reset the bar, they focus kind of on the regional level, club level racing. But if you're going to do that, the best opportunity is to have that Grand Nationals again. Pull that big race out so all the drivers who run, whether it's in the Pacific Northwest or the Northeast, Pennsylvania, wherever you run your Rotax, this is an opportunity now to have that one big race that you can go to. And that was the beauty of the Grand Nationals, David, when the program first came here, because Rotax was initially a club program. It was all about having a club Rotax Max Challenge, and then if you qualified, you ran enough races and qualified, you were able to earn a chance to go to the Grand Nationals. That was the beauty of it when it started. I like that they're kind of bringing this thing back. And again, a tough time to start a new race, but I think that a lot of people are going to be just absolutely itching to get out to the track. So I'm sure that Rotax engine rentals will be big. I think it'll be exciting for people who want to get back to the racetrack.
And again, the prize of representing Team USA or whatever country you do earn a ticket to the Rotax Grand Finals. I mean, again, this is probably one of the most prestigious events in the world in terms of karting, if not motorsports, because it truly is the Olympics of karting. And I'm working on an article that's kind of going to be highlighting that, because again, a lot of people who have just joined the sport in the last probably 3 years don't realize the history and the prestige and the number of people that are now racing IndyCar and sports cars and other professional forms of motorsports came up through the Rotax program, raced at the Rotax Max Challenge Grand Finals, represented Team USA that were there, that are now in the professional ranks. So a lot of history dating back, as you said, to when it began. Really, 2001, I want to say, was the first year of the U.S. Rotax Grand Nationals. Can you tell me who won that race just off the top of your head?
In 2001?
Yeah, it was just a senior class. So the one category.
Wow. Off the top of my head, Joey Collins?
No, that's kind of a good guess, but you kind of think closer home to me. Doesn't quite live here anymore. Still involved in karting.
I don't know. Throw it out there.
Tim Lobaugh.
Timmy Lobaugh. Yeah, all right. That's awesome.
2001 Xplex, the rock pile in there in Las Vegas.
It
was just the one class. It was international or whatever they called it.
That's awesome.
You know, but again, when you talk about the club, you know, you look at who won the next 3 years after that. Jordan Musser, three straight wins in the senior category. So yeah, it does have that club mentality of where everybody comes in together and has that one big race, under the Rotax banner, but it still brings a lot of talent to the event.
I look forward to seeing the article. You're right, David, because I think it'll be really cool. Again, like obviously I spaced on the fact that it was Tim Lobaugh. I can't wait to go back and read what you put together on all the history of the Grand Nationals, because it's interesting. You talk about, again, people that haven't been in the sport for 3 or 4 years, they don't know because it's been that long since Rotax was really, right in the middle of a spotlight program. But the grand finals have always been something that have been amazing. And I've been doing these Instagram live Q&As, question and answer interviews with drivers in the Road to Indy. It's part of my Road to Indy Insider effort that I do. And it's funny, David, how many kids, I say kids, but they're now anywhere between 16 and 20 something years old. But how many drivers on the Road to Indy, inevitably, when I'm going through what they've done, were they part of Team USA or Team Canada?
Yeah, that's exactly what I was talking about.
Dude,
yeah,
it's unbelievable how like everyone I'm going through, my God, and you go talk about guys like Santino Ferrucci as well, but it's Oliver Askew and Kyle Kirkwood, and we just go through all these guys that were all part of Team USA or Team Canada. It's amazing how many people went and did that.
Let me give you a year and who was on this team. Hold on.
Why are you doing this to me?
No,
okay,
it's awesome. It's awesome. So 2012, right? We had 4 drivers in the junior category. Now remember, we went there as Portugal, right?
Yeah, the year before New Orleans.
Yeah.
Yep, we were there. Yeah.
So it was Portimao, Portugal. Oliver Askew. We had no idea who Oliver was at the time, but Mike Marini was wrenching for him through Ocala Grand Prix.
That's
Juan
even worse.
Manuel Correa, who would go on to win the race the next year, and obviously moved up and raced in Europe until that scary incident last year.
Yeah, he'll be back.
Santino Ferrucci. He won the U.S. Grand Nationals that year at South Bend and raced. It wasn't exactly his best outing at the grand finals. A little situation happened for him there.
Little situation.
And then you rounded out with Ashley Rogero, sorry.
Look at that lineup, right?
Yeah, it's amazing.
One of the best female drivers in the history of American karting. Yeah. An IndyCar driver, 2 IndyCar drivers, and a driver who was an F2 before his incident this last year.
Kirkwood was a junior the next year, along with Norberg, Blaine Rocha, Luke Stelican. So I mean, I'm not even getting into the guys who were in the senior and DD2 and all that. So lots of cool things that we'll get into in the article.
Oh man, that's awesome. A little walk down memory lane. I dig it. That's fun. And listen, that's something we'll do, David. I know we're kind of focused on this, but when we get closer to the U.S. Rotax Grand Nationals, and again, as I said, we'll be there with our EKN Trackside Live. We'll start doing a lot of that stuff. There's going to be a lot of history stuff that we're going to be able to do going into that event. I look forward to that. It'll be a lot of fun. All right, Dave. Speaking of international races, give us an update on what FIA Karting is talking about with their European events, the World Championship events. What's the adjusted 2020 calendar coming out of CIK FIA?
Well, much like us here in the United States, everything over in Europe has been shut down in terms of racing. Obviously, I think towards the beginning of March is really when we started seeing the international events getting canceled. So now they're moving some stuff around, and really a lot of it is getting jammed into the months of September, October, and November to fill out the schedule, because we know August is kind of a vacation month for a lot of the industry over there. So everything's
that's happening this year.
What's that?
I'm not sure if that's happening this year.
That's true. We'll have to see. But a lot of the events are getting moved into September, October, November area, including the European Championships. The event that was in May at Wackersdorf has been moved to September 10th through the 13th. That's for the OK and OK Junior. The European KZ, KZ2, and Academy Trophy event that was scheduled for Genk has been postponed to September 3 through the 6th. The World Championship for the KZ, KZ2, and Academy Trophy finale at Lonato will be moved from September to October 1 through the 4th. So they're kind of moving those pieces around. And of course, the big news was the FIA Karting World Championships that was scheduled for Brazil on October 29th through November 1 have been moved to November 5th through the 8th in Portimao, Portugal. So the same facility we went to for the Rotax Grand Finals in 2012, they will now host the 2020 World Karting Championships.
All right, there's a great update there from David, folks, in terms of some the international events as well. Back to another quick break. When we come back after this little message time, we'll talk a little bit about Briggs & Stratton. We'll chat about Margay Racing a little bit, and we'll wrap things up with a cool little piece coming out of the guys at Nitro Kart. Again, this is episode 22 of This Week in Karting here on the EKN Radio Network. Stay with us. More to come after this break.
History, success, family. Those are the three words that describe Comet Kart Sales, one of the longest tenured karting businesses in the United States. The family-owned operation is located just outside of Indianapolis, and they have provided karts, parts, and services for thousands of racers throughout their near 6 decades of business. Comet's online store features everything you need, continually adding new parts to their product line. Comet Kart Sales attends dozens of karting events every year, offering trackside service for racers and families. Karting veterans Mark Dismore Jr. and Gary Lawson provide one-on-one driver coaching and tuning assistance for each trackside customer. The engine building business, Comet Racing Engines, has won countless major events and championships over decades of karting, and they continue to offer the best trackside service in the industry. Make sure you head to CometKartSales.com or call them at 317-462-3413 to be a part of the Comet Kart Sales family today.
Technology, design, and manufacturing. These components are what make Kart Republic a world champion. The Kart Republic chassis has earned 2 FIA World Karting Championships. Here in the US, the brand has earned multiple victories and championships in senior, junior, and cadet competition. Kart Sport North America is the country's importer and distributor for Dino Chiesa's Kart Republic chassis, and as a leader in American karting, they are focused on providing stability for the sport and quality products and service for the community. Whether you'd like to find the Kart Republic dealer closer to you or schedule an arrive and drive package with its official North American race team, contact Kart Sport North America through their official website, kartsportna.com. We are Republic. We are one. Welcome back to the EKN Radio Network, episode number 22 of This Week in Karting. My name's Rob Howden, joined by David Cole, as always. David, we've got some stuff lining up with Briggs & Stratton. Obviously, big partners with us, and they've done such an amazing job of kind of helping to press the reset button on the bottom of the pyramid. Club racing, grassroots racing, the Briggs 206 has just taken American karting by storm, and it really has injected so much excitement and fun back into the sport. We're going to have Dan Roach with us on a face-to-face coming up pretty soon. Of course, he's the new head man at Briggs & Stratton Motorsports. But they came up with a new program recently, David. They've got the mascot. They've got the kind of graphic that they use, whatever it's animal graphic, whatever you want to call it. But they decided to have a mascot. Yeah, but is it an animal? Is it a thing? What is it? Right?
Good point. Yeah,
I'm just throwing it out there. It's a graphic, whatever it may be. It's going to be something else pretty soon. A naming contest. They've narrowed it down to 5 names to name the mascot for Briggs & Stratton. What are your thoughts? Tell us about what the 5 are, and we'll talk about them ourselves.
Well, it was a really cool, good timing to implement this contest, because obviously we're all home. We got lots that we want to do and other things like that, and so I think it was open for a 3 or 4 week period to where people could submit their name for the new mascot. And what he told us was, I believe, 2,600 different submissions for the name contest. So a lot of people tuning in, giving their feedback, a lot of funny ones, a lot of interesting ones. But basically him and 12 people from Briggs & Stratton kind of narrowed everything down to about 25 different names, and then they narrowed it down to these 5 that are up for the prizes here and the new name. So let's give you the names. The first name is Apex, and that is given to us by Corbett. Brigzilla is another name given to us by Martin. John decided to come up with a name of Chomp. Anthony submitted the name of Dino. And John T. Rivet. So those are the 5 different names. So Apex, Brigzilla, Chomp, Dino, and Rivet.
So Voting still open for another 4 days. May the 11th, it'll shut down. Go to briggsracing.com and vote for the one you like the best of those 5. One of the winners there is going to get a new Briggs 206 engine. Second and third take home, not surprisingly, a $206 gift card to Comet Kart Sales. Should we say which one we like, or are we going to try? Would we be like influencing people?
Well, the good thing about the voting is you can vote every 24 hours. So if you have a favorite one, you can vote for that one every 24 hours. Otherwise, you can just vote for all 5 to help do that. Me, I like the Chomp right away. Yeah. I think Dino kind of works well, and Brigzilla is kind of good.
I'm a Brigzilla fan.
Yeah, so I like those 3. I think Apex is obviously a great one for racing concept, and Rivet. It's a catchy one, but doesn't quite
not Rivet.
Revit. Sorry, Revit.
But it's not Brock.
Yeah. Exactly. So yeah, nobody wants to be on the rev limiter. So not in a Briggs. You don't want to be on the rev limiter in a Briggs, right?
Maybe I got the pass. I got it handled.
Yeah. So maybe that should have been the name.
Bubba.
Yeah, that's so funny. Maybe when we get Dan on, he'll be able to provide us some interesting submissions, some similar to that.
Yeah, you know what? I was thinking about that. I want to hear some of the other ones that they didn't pick.
I didn't want to include that in the article that we put up, but I was hoping to save that for our face-to-face because
we'll do it,
because then he'll be able to provide us a pretty good list, and
I like it.
We'll be able to get our reactions on camera, so that'll be good.
I love it. Again, props to Briggs and Stratton, always out there, connecting with the sport, supporting the sport, and big thank you to their support for what they do for eKarting News. And look forward to talking to Dan on face to face and kind of introducing him to the Briggs and Stratton, the 206 community, because he's brand new. I think everybody got to know David Klaus over the last many years. David, of course, moving on to other ventures, and that position Dan now as the Briggs and Stratton Motorsports Director. So we look forward to talking to him and get you a chance to meet him. And again, David, good thing about this, we'll get this out here now. Folks, look for our post coming up that Dan is coming on. If you have questions for Dan, perfect time. Make sure you comment under the Facebook post that we put up. We'll have it on Twitter as well. You can comment on Twitter. We'll grab as many questions as we can. Good opportunity for a Q&A for the guy that's essentially running the Briggs and Stratton program now. I think it'll be great. All right, DC, although it's done, we kind of wanted to bring this up because it was a really, really cool program. Margay Racing and Ignite Karting put together a karting stimulus package, which was awesome. If you bought a new kart before the end of April, it's now done, we're into May, they were offering free shipping, 2019 pricing. And what I thought was awesome, and when Keith Freber and Greg Dingus told us about this, I thought, what a great idea. If you bought a kart last month, up to April 30th, as we said, they were to send your track a $250 stimulus check to your designated track for your upcoming practice and track fees, event fees, whatever it may be. I thought that was just an awesome way it wasn't just a rebate, but it was a rebate kind of that was going to your track to make sure your track was supported as well. I thought that was just a really, really unique idea to Margay.
Well, again, as the name says, stimulus, it's there to bring it up. And that's one thing that, not only are you supporting karting by purchasing a kart, but they're in turn supporting you and your club by providing the stimulus check back to you. So essentially, it's a little bit cross-mogenation there. But it was really good to see them do that. We talked to Keith a little bit about it during our face-to-face with him earlier this month or earlier in April. And really cool to see, because that's one thing we continue to see growing is the Ignite Karting program. We talked to Tim Hannon at Oakland Valley and Alan Bertignoli at Kart Circuit Autobahn down there in Illinois. Both are dying and chomping at the bit. Get it? Chomping.
Right.
To get
well
back,
played.
To get back to
played, sir.
To get back to racing again, and that the Ignite program is certainly something that just like we're seeing with the Rock program at Challenging Americas, the Ignite program is still gaining that momentum, going track to track and welcoming and bringing new and old people, not old, but former racers back into the sport.
Yeah, indeed. Some of them are old.
Yeah, some of them are old. Tim Hannon's old, but
he is old. Yeah. So am I, though. That's the thing. You're getting there. Hey, listen. You mentioned the face-to-face that we did with Keith and Alan and Tim. Just to let people know, obviously that's a new program we brought out. It's a Facebook Live, essentially, a program. So if you missed any of them, the reason why we obviously did that, because we started the Instagram Live interviews we were doing, and they were awesome. We had James Hinchcliffe on. We had so many people from the industry, but they only lived for about 24 hours on our Instagram story. So we said, let's do it. Let's just jump into this Facebook Live deal. Picked up a good supplier to allow us to have 3, 4, 5, 6. I think we can have up to 6 people on the broadcast, which is great. We'll do more of that coming forward. But if you missed any of them, they're not gone. You can go to our videos page on Facebook and see them there, or they're all as well on our YouTube channel as well. So go subscribe to the eKarting News YouTube channel. All the videos will be on there, and you're going to see a lot more videos coming up. That's one of the things that we're going to delve into in 2020 and beyond 2021. We're going to do a lot more video stuff. You're going to see some videos of our Book It interviews as well. We're going to do a lot more stuff like that where we actually have video as well. So, and you can also, of course, download the audio from all of our face-to-face on iTunes and Google Play as a podcast as well. We're kind of multitasking with all of our interviews, so you can listen to them everywhere. But if you did miss it, you can see it on Facebook or YouTube. So, David, let's wrap up this particular segment before we head to our final break in the show. Nitro Kart coming out with their 2020 Racer Guidebook. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, it was a cool little thing that we saw Nitro Kart publish up on their Facebook page and Instagram and social media accounts. Essentially, a racer guidebook is what they've put together to provide for their racers for the 2020 season. Essentially, it has the tools in order to succeed in karting. It has a lot of different tips, session log sheets, checklists, vocab words, obviously Nitro Kart setup guides, track maps, all these different little things to kind of help guide you not only pre-race, but during the race and post-race. And it's not only for drivers, but it's also used for mechanics and parents to utilize throughout the race season. So very cool racer guidebook that they've been able to put together for not only their racers, but I'm sure other racers that don't work with Nitro Kart can be able to purchase this racer guidebook and use it on their own.
Yeah, great stuff for sure from Nitro Kart. All right, folks, one more break in the action of this edition of This Week in Karting. When we get back, we'll kind of do an overview of everything that we've been doing at ekartingnews.com. We'll give you an update of some of the stuff that we have coming up as well, because a lot of great interviews lined up. Of course, face-to-face, we'll be playing with that more next week and throughout the months to come. It's going to be a regular editorial component for eKarting News here in 2020, and I would expect from now on. So we continue to evolve what we do here at EKN. We appreciate all your feedback. Stay with us, folks. One more break, and we'll wrap things up here on This Week in Karting. Acceleration Kart Racing is your first and only stop on the internet for karts, parts, and safety gear to get you on the track. ShopAKRA.com offers a great selection of karting equipment on a user-friendly website. Acceleration Kart Racing has aligned itself with many of the top manufacturers and distributors in the sport to ensure that all the latest equipment is available to you, the consumer. With customer support available 6 days a week, you can be confident about getting the right parts at the right price. Be sure to visit ShopAKR.com today or stop by their headquarters in Las Vegas. Also, follow them on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram for the latest specials, clearance items, and new products. If you're searching for a program to elevate you up the motorsports ladder, Crosslink Competition is your next step. Crosslink Competition provides arrive and drive programs that include driver coaching, data analysis, and engine rental programs for all major events in the 2020 season. Team Crosslink is scheduled to compete at the SCUSA Pro Tour, Rock Cup USA, and the United States Pro Kart Series events, as well as regional and local programs from their home base in Texas. Crosslink Competition is a full retail shop for the Xpree and OTK parts line. Many new and used packages are available right now through their Dallas headquarters. Drivers interested in making the jump from karting to cars, Crosslink provides a streamlined opportunity for you. Team Crosslink Kiwi Motorsports was the 2019 F4 United States Championship title winner, providing the perfect transition within the same operation. Drivers looking to compete with an elite-level karting program or to pick up gently used team equipment are asked to call 214-432-4413. Be sure to follow all the team's social media platforms at Team Crosslink. Welcome back to episode 22 of This Week in Karting here on the EKN Radio Network. Rob Howden and David Cole providing you with an update. Normally, is everything that's on the homepage of ekartingnews.com. Essentially, we give you all the news that we brought to you from the sports, stuff that's arrived on our news desk. Our final bit here, we talk more about the original content that we were able to push out. But again, this particular show, a lot of it more just about updating you on postponements, cancellations, the evolution of our schedule here in 2020, in the shadow of the COVID-19 coronavirus pandemic shutdown. Things starting to lift in many areas of the country, the curve being flattened, and that was the idea, flatten the curve to take the pressure off the hospital system. I think that's happened in many, many places. I've talked to friends of mine that are nurses or doctors or whatever, working at hospitals, and I'm hearing that things are calming down in many areas, which is exciting to hear. It's a big positive for sure. David, let's talk about the stuff that we pushed out, original content from ekartingnews.com. A bunch of articles going out on EKN over the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, one of the cool things that I was able to put together was the Briggs & Stratton 206 seal expired. We know that the 2020 season for some of the older original Briggs & Stratton 206 engines, their seals have expired due to the development in the seals that are utilized through the 206 engine at the Briggs & Stratton factory. So now what do you do with these old engines? Well, we gave different options for people to do with their old engines. And so it was because we have one sitting in our garage right now, we're quite sure what to do with it. So we provided a number of different options for people to look at with those that do have engines that have this seal expired.
Yeah, that's a great thing to go look at, folks. Again, this is all the stuff you can access on ekartingnews.com. We kind of wrapped the season up, the month of March rather, up in the middle of the month, but we still decided, hey, we have to have a driver of the month. And we ended up going back to the Rock Cup Florida Winter Tour finale and elected Caleb Gaffera, who was able to win the championship there. Excellent job for Caleb. He was our driver of the month for March. We also, David, you put... What?
I was going to say, it's going to be a little difficult for April. I was
going to say, what do we do, online?
We might have to look at some iRacing stuff and see, what karters have been really shining through the iRacing programs that ran through.
I think we take the month off. Is what I think we do.
I think that's a good idea.
I think we take a month off. You get a go-kart outside, we'll talk about driver of the month.
There we go. Yeah.
I did a morning coffee as well, planning on the return to competition. Essentially, it was just me trying to get into words kind of what I think we need to do moving forward. And really, as that article, I had written that article, we were planning to get it out. USAC Karting came up with their kind of blueprint for what they wanted to, they were going to be doing moving forward at the Battle of the Brickyard, etc. Very similar to everything I talked about, what we had to do. Again, it was just kind of a talking point to get the conversation started for clubs, tracks around the country. This is the kind of thing we're going to need to do when we finally go back to competition. You can find that, of course, on eKarting News as well. One of our menus in the drop down, you can find my column, Morning Coffee. And then, David, we got another article submission from Richard Seiler as well, a guy that's getting back into the sport and getting held up now because of this coronavirus.
Yeah, he started a Begin Again column that he's kind of following himself as he's brought back into the sport of karting, getting back to his roots. Longtime was a karter in his early years and then got sidetracked with other types of racing and obviously work and family and stuff like that. So he's getting back to his karting roots. And so he's providing us his words on what exactly is transpiring during this comeback. And as you said, this latest one is a little bit of some roadblocks, obviously with the pandemic coming down, the rains that have been hitting the Texas area where he lives, and then just old body strains and viruses that have been hitting him. So looking forward to seeing what he's able to come back with, because he said in this one he's been able to find certain ways to get better on the racetrack quickly, and so we'll see once he gets racing how that those changes transition into racing.
A quick look at some of the podcasts that are now available. Of course, as you know, all the content that we do put out, audio content, starts off on the EKN Radio Network, streams there for a couple of days. Then we turn it into podcast form. So you can always download the EKN Radio Network app to listen to it for the first time, or wait for a week or so until it becomes a podcast form. We're a little let down on the podcast, and we've got to kind of fire that up, because normally we'd be blasting out our EKN Outlap preview shows. We'd be wrapping up events with our EKN debriefs. We just haven't been able to do that. I did a great Book It podcast interview with Greg Bell. That's an awesome one to listen to. We did that This Week in Karting back on April 14th. We've been now, of course, making, David, the face-to-face shows. The first 4 episodes are now all available as podcasts, turning that face-to-face into an audio podcast as well.
Yeah, it was a great idea for you to be able to think about moving it and putting it on the radio, and then making it available for podcasts, because that's one thing that people have talked to us one of the reasons why we continue to do podcasts is not everybody has time to sit there and watch a video, or have their phone open to a video, or have their laptop open to a video, where podcast solves that equation. So putting the face-to-face up as a podcast is certainly helping that, allowing those who take all their information through an audio form the opportunity to listen into the interviews that we've conducted through the face-to-face, including the first one with Alan Rudolph at Alan Rudolph Racing Academy. Obviously the one that we did with Margay Racing, including Keith Freber, Alan Bertignoli, and Tim Hannon. The recent ones that we posted this week to podcast form are the USAC Karting one with Mike Burrell, Jason Burgess, and Rick Folks. And then our Kart Track Roundtable, we're kind of continued on from that morning coffee that you wrote, kind of getting a firsthand take on what tracks are doing while they're reopening with Mike Adams at Newcastle Motorsports Park, or Donald Dermott Jr., who hasn't quite opened up at Prairie City Kart Track in Northern California, and Brett Spotty at Bushnell Motorsports Park in Florida. So lots of different view takes on different topics in those 4 podcasts.
Yeah, I expect we'll do another Kart Track Roundtable again soon, maybe in a couple of weeks, to talk to some different areas. Again, just with the podcasts. And I love the fact that we've turned the live shows into podcasts, because I love podcasts. It's I know that many people will probably agree with me and do the same thing. When I'm out, when I'm driving anywhere, the first thing I do is I hop in, I get my phone plugged in, and I'm listening to a podcast. If I'm driving anywhere over half an hour, I got a podcast rolling. When I work out, if I go for a run or a walk, whatever I'm doing, if I'm on the treadmill, when I'm on the road, I'm always listening to something, whether it's an IndyCar podcast or any of the podcasts I like to listen to. I try not to listen to myself, because I hate my own voice, and I know you hate it as well, David. So I don't usually listen to that.
I can say I've never listened to our podcast, because
I listen sometimes to try to critique it a little bit, because I want you to get better. I struggle with it a little. You're doing a great job.
Well, I'm just shocked that you're working out, because typically you never work out.
Listen, man. I'm 10 years older than you, and if I'm gonna keep beating you like I have your entire career, like a rented mule.
You're beating me with a hickory stick.
Loud. Let's jump into it. So here's what's coming on the EKN Radio Network. Let's talk about that, Dave.
What is coming on the EKN Radio Network? Oh, yeah.
Well, listen, you're playing a bunch of old school. We call it the rewind.
Yeah.
You're playing a bunch of old school EKN Trackside live broadcasts. And listen, again, I don't like to listen to myself that much, but I do like to go back and listen to some of these older ones, just because it kind of brings me back to the races we were at, whatever it was, 2012, 13, whatever it is. And just hear me call on races of some of these guys that are now in the road to Indy or IndyCar or sports car racing. I think it's super cool. I love it.
Yeah, such as a Patricio Award winning at the
Never
Super
heard.
Nats and Tag Cadet, something like that, or
Just turned 21 yesterday.
a Kyle
Buckle Award.
a Kyle Kirkwood winning S5 at the Super Nats.
Isn't that crazy?
We're doing a lot of spring Nats right now because obviously this is a time where we'd be at the spring nationals.
We'd get the spring Nats.
So we'll probably get into some more WK, USPKS, and other events as we move on through the month of May. Just kind of trying to get what we haven't played on the radio, get it up there. Because we have events dating back to, I believe, 2012. So that's awesome. Lots of stuff to get to.
If there's a race that we were at, EKN Trackside Live, and we have the audio, let us know, right?
Yeah, send us an email.
Yeah, we'll play it. I think it's awesome. Coming soon on Face to Face. More industry roundtable stuff for sure. Like I said, I want to do another kart track roundtable as we continue to kind of get rolling. This caught me off guard. I thought it was hilarious. When we did the interview with the guys from USAC Karting, of course, Mike Burrell and Jason Burgess were actually at the USAC offices. Apparently, they have a bar in the USAC offices, which I think is a fantastic idea.
At least a couple kegs, not necessarily a full bar.
It might not be a full bar, but they have a couple. There was a couple of taps.
A couple taps, yeah.
So you and I, water or whatever. You might have a Coke. I had a water. I know that Rick Folks wasn't drinking. These guys are pouring beers, like big Pilsner glasses of beers. I'm like, this is a great idea. And hey, listen, back in the day, and this kind of blows me away a little bit because the interesting thing is now, of course, we're able to do the live face-to-face. You think about how things have evolved over the years. All the podcasts that we've been doing over the last number of years as well with the EKN Radio Network. Dude, we did podcasts back when you first started, in the mid-2000s. Back 2005, 2006, 2007, we were doing a podcast like every, Friday or Saturday night at the Stars of Karting events, wherever we were. We were in a hotel. We'd set the mics up, and we would do a happy hour with Howden sometimes at the bar, but sometimes just in the hotel lobby, whatever it may be. Those were a lot of fun.
Yes, I do have all that video or audio still in the archives. Can you remember the first one we did?
Wow. You know what? I wonder. Was it the first? I'll throw this out there.
Okay.
Was it Iron Rock in Austin?
Iron Rock Raceway in Austin, Texas.
Okay, in Austin, and we had on
Stars.
Stars of
yep.
Stars of Karting. Yep. It was a finals. It was their last race, right?
It was the last race. Yep.
Yeah, and that was Paul Zaylut, and I think we did it in the Champion Racing Pit.
We did.
Yeah. Yeah, we made fun of Brett Smurs.
Made fun of Smurs. How do you not have a vowel? How do you not have a vowel?
That's right. I remember that.
2005. Yep. So we that was the first time we did any kind of audio, and back then there was no podcast channels. We just put it up on the website. You clicked on it and you listened to it.
That's it, right? We uploaded it to the FTP.
Yep. That's
we were raw rookies, man. Remember we didn't buy all the equipment, and oh my god!
I think I still have that original mixer somewhere around here. I don't know.
Yeah. I know pictures out there. We had a banner that we would put up, right? We had that banner. With Howden. And
we have the picture. We have the picture. I'll just have to look for it. But it was.
We did it. We did it in the Champion Racing tent, I believe.
I think we had Ron White on there. I think
right.
Maybe David Yurka was on there. I'm not quite sure who the guests were. I haven't listened to it in a while.
Dude, listen, get that one out. Let's get that up on the broadcast on the EKN Radio Network.
We'll have to work on that. Yeah.
The segue goes to the fact that these guys were drinking beers, having some cold beers. Man, that's a great idea. So we're planning, I think, not this Friday, not tomorrow, but that next Friday, I think we're planning on doing a happy hour with Howden. We'll do like a 5 o'clock somewhere kind of thing. And around 5 o'clock next Friday, we'll bring a band of miscreants, the worst of the sport, bring them on with us, and we'll have a cold beer or something like that. We'll just talk about the sport. Tell stories.
And I think the great thing about it is we can bring in guests as we do with this. So that is one thing, if you're on Facebook, we'll be able to send you the password, the link to get into our studio. And so we can change the guests as we go along with the show. So that I think that'll be a cool little thing to do. So lots we we could play videos while we're doing the lots of different options that we have with.
I feel like we need to go back into the old, like get some of the guys of the old days, like a Tony Ventresca or Richie Buxman or something like that
on the show.
On the show.
Oh man, good thing we're not together.
Well, see, you know what? Well, I think he could probably figure it out, or at least his daughter could help. But we could get Claudio Valiente. I'm sure he'd have a nice glass of wine. Bring him on. Talk to Claudio from Italian Motors. That's old school.
That's very old school.
Jason Lapointe from Track Magic days.
Yeah. I mean, even right. Zaylud would be a funny.
Zaylud would be great to have on.
You know? Yeah. Lots. I mean, again,
I love the idea.
We're still kind of formulating the format of the show and what we're going to do, when we're going to do it. I think we're looking at next Friday.
Next Friday. Yeah. We did talk about bringing a lot of the current karting photographers on to talk about how bad they are and have them thrash on each other for being just horrible.
Yeah, that won't necessarily be a happy hour. I mean, we could make it a happy hour. We could start it with that. Like we could.
I think it'd be a great happy hour.
That could be the opening happy hour and then go from there, because we could always just dump the photographers if somebody cool comes on. You know what I mean?
That's true. Yeah. To cool people. But
yeah.
Wow. You're lumping yourself in there now because you're one of the photographer geeks as well.
I'm not in. I'm like on the outside looking in. I'm not. That's even.
True. They make fun of you when you're not out there for sure.
All the time. They make fun of me next to me.
Here comes David again. Yeah. Oh, look at me. I'm a photographer. All right, well, that's going to happen for sure. What else we got coming, Dave? Let's columns, profiles, anything else we got going on? I don't know what I've got. We're just working on something.
Yeah, we're like I said, we're working. Yeah, you should do something. It'd be nice if you actually did some work around here.
Wow.
Like we're working with CRZ. We're going to do an article on the rental cart program that they have. Again, it's all about keep informing the racers and karters of what's going on within the industry, because a lot of people are brand new to the sport, and some just don't know the stories that happened 5 years ago. So we're retelling some of those stories.
Yeah.
It's just some other columns that we're working on. I have an age one I still have to get to. We're doing the road tax story, so a little bit of history on that.
We got the women in karting series.
We have one scheduled for next Wednesday to be published. We just need to get that final edit on that one. So watch for that coming on Wednesday. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll take care of it. I got it.
And again, we're just continuing to update people on social media through Instagram, Facebook, Twitter on just things that are going on within the sport. Again, we are the hub of karting here.
We're trying. All right, folks, we're done. Let's wrap this thing up. We are finished with episode number 22 of This Week in Karting. A lot more to come, as David had said. If you have any requests for old EK and Trackside live events that we covered, you want to hear the play-by-play from any of those events from around 2012 to the current, let us know. Drop us an email at newsdesk@ekartingnews.com, or you can always send us a direct message on any one of our platforms, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Make sure to, if you're wondering where we are in the sport, follow social, because every day David will put a link to the updated, essentially track status article that we're running, where everybody is, who's shut down, who's allowing member racing. And again, one more time, I'll put it out to the sport. If you're a club or a track owner who has not yet connected with us, please do so immediately. Get with us, give us the update, and we'll get back to you on a regular basis. We want to keep this thing updated so everybody in the karting community knows kind of where we are in terms of what tracks are open, when we're going to be going racing. Of course, we got lots more face-to-face shows coming up. We'll talk to Mark Coates and Tim Coyan, as David had said, from the USPKS. Going to make sure we try to reach out to Tom Kutcher at Superkarts USA, Garrett Potter at Rock Cup USA, the good folks at USAC. We already talked to them, Rock Island. We're going to try to keep you as closely connected as we possibly can here on ekartingnews.com. David, any final thoughts to cap this off?
No, I'm just looking for that audio now from Stars. That Stars race.
Dude, you got to bring that. I will listen to that one. I want to hear that. That's awesome. Folks, we're done. That's it. We're wrapping up here with This Week in Karting episode 22, May the 7th here in 2020, the weirdest year of the 25 years that I've been in this sport. I don't know what the hell's going on. I just can't wait for us to get back to the racetrack. Hopefully you guys are taking care of each other. Stay home, stay safe. keep your immune system up, folks. You can stay home, but get out, get some fresh air, roll around in your grass a little bit, because we don't want to get ourselves to the point where we can't even go outside because we have no immune system anymore. Take care of yourself, eat well, take care of the family. Hope you guys are having a good time. Keep following us here on ekartingnews.com. Lots more face-to-face to come. We appreciate all the support. And wrapping up with that, if you haven't got your Support Karting t-shirt yet, go to the eKarting News store. Support karting, support the industry. This is the time to spend money in our industry because our shops need it. They take care of us on a week-to-week basis. They need us right now. Buy your tires, buy fuel, buy spark plugs, buy chain, buy graphics, get your helmet painted, get your engine tuned up. This is the time to take care of the sport. We thank you so much for everything you do for eKarting News. We appreciate all your kind words and the messages you guys have been sending. We are done here. Keep enjoying ekartingnews.com and the EKN Radio Network. On behalf of David Cole, my name's Rob Howden. Bye for now.